Okay, I am testing this for the initial recording. Part will need to be deleted. So once I go live here, I'm just waiting so I can view this here. Testing 1, 2. Test. Testing 1, 2. Testing. Okay, looks like we're good here. I'm going to go ahead and start. We can start on the next slide here, so we'll start here. Okay, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we'll start here. Okay, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, everyone, welcome to. Hi, everyone, welcome. Okay, I'm gonna start again. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Scola's Facebook advertise. I'm gonna start again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to. My goodness. All right, start again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scola's webinar. We're excited to have you here. We're going to start in just a minute here. This is actually a re-recording of the. I'm not even going to say that. Doesn't matter. Okay, restart. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scola's webinar. Today, we're talking about the secret sauce to targeting new prospects. It's going to be about Facebook advertising. This is Facebook advertising 101 for schools. So we're going to just jump in right here to the webinar, and we're just glad you could join us. And we hope that you get a lot out of this. And this is an introductory webinar. We'll be diving deeper in future webinars. My name is Ralph Cochran. I'm the president and senior consultant at Scola Inbound Marketing. And my team is passionate about helping your college and school grow. So we're excited to help you achieve your marketing enrollment goals for next year, and we can help you get there. Our clients who work with us succeed, and we make sure they do. So as you go through this webinar, you're going to see one of our tools that we do that with is Facebook ads, but what we're doing is much broader than that. Today's call is going to go over today's webinar, excuse me. We're going to go over a bunch of different items here, and let me just kind of jump right in here. I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking a lot about Scola or all the things we can do. You can find a lot about that online. You can also schedule an assessment with us if you're at an upcoming conference, which we attend. We can meet face-to-face there. So there's a lot of different ways we can get together. But for today, I want to just focus on the material at hand, and we look forward to maybe meeting you in the future and talking about your particular situation. So today we want to talk about, as an overview, the enrollment problem schools face, the implications for admissions, what is inbound marketing, Google AdWords versus Facebook advertising, diving deep into Facebook advertising, buyer personas, knowing your target audience, and why Facebook advertising is your ultimate game changer. So next week, not next week, our next webinar, which will be in a few weeks from now, we will be diving deeper than what we're gonna discuss in today's webinar. A lot of the next time we'll be getting into actual examples and building some ads and showing you some of the tools and features within Facebook that you can use to have success. So stay tuned for that webinar. But today we're going to be more strategic and kind of get a context. I think there's an overload that happens with people both in just on the internet in general, but also when it comes to Facebook advertising. Facebook advertising can be very overwhelming because there's so many different ways to go with it. And unfortunately, in my opinion, Facebook doesn't give a lot of guidance on strategy. It's more tactical. And if you don't have a strategy, you're not going to know what tactics to use to be able to achieve the goals you need. And then you're going to be frustrated. You're not going to see how it works well. And you're not going to know why it's working well when it is. And so having a correct strategy is really key. But let's start first here. We need to understand the problem. Probably the problem that Facebook ads help solve, which is basically attracting more of the right prospects to visit your school. If I could see you on the screen right now, and you would probably shake your head when I make this statement. Is it true that once families come to your school, you're very confident in your ability to convert a majority of them into new students? And my guess is your head's shaking yes right now. And the problem though is how to get them to your school. And oftentimes what I see in school marketing strategies, they don't have one. It's the first problem. The second is if they do have one, it's usually focusing on people making buying decisions, not recognizing that people are researching and they need information at a high level, they're not ready to apply to your school. They're not ready to take a tour. They're not even ready to come to an open house. They might have more practical issues that they need to deal with early on. Maybe they're dealing with a bullying situation at their current school, or maybe they moved to the area and they don't know the landscape for all the different opportunities in their community. And they need like a buyer's guide to the different private schools, colleges, etc. So those are some key things that need to be understood here, is understanding how to reach those prospects. Because here's the reality. This is a quote from Brian Halligan of HubSpot, and I'm just going to read this to you and comment on it. I think the most telling stat in this power shift is that prospects have made about 60% of their buying decisions before talking to a sales rep. Think of missions, according to Corporate Executive Board. The buyer is more than halfway sure whether or not they're going to be your next customer based solely on information they discovered online. So here's the deal. In the past 10 years, it's a complete different change of who has the information. It used to be admissions would have the admissions packet and all the details. So some schools would even hide their tuition rates and not post them online. And these days, if you're doing things like that, you are probably not seeing many people come to your school, because the reality is that prospects can find most of the information they need on your website, and they don't need the admissions director to tell them as much. In fact, when they come to the school, sometimes they might know more about the school than you do, and you might have been working there several years because they're current on maybe current things that are happening in the community. They hear both word of mouth, they see reviews online, they're able to engage and see social media, etc. So this power shift is very important to take into account. And this is especially true of millennials, and how you can market to millennials is understanding this dynamic. In a webinar, I did a whole thing on marketing to millennials that I encourage you to go back and watch, and I think you'll find that helpful. So again, we're taking a step back as we go through this. We're going to do strategy before tactics. So again, I'm not going to be getting today into the specifics of which ads to run on a Facebook campaign or how to set up an audience. I'm going to be more talking about the why and the how we'll get into in the future webinars. because ultimately the deal is this, is that Facebook is powerful because of the audience targeting, but your ad campaigns must be built within the context of a strategy for long-term success. So if you don't know which audience you're targeting, how to target them, why to target them, you're only dealing with the tip of the iceberg. You need to be dealing with the strategy and understanding who your audience is below the iceberg, below the bottom half of the iceberg. So in order to step back and understand something is talking about inbound marketing. Obviously, part of my company's name is Inbound Marketing. So what exactly is inbound marketing? Well, I want you to understand what it is and what the role that Facebook ads play in terms of inbound marketing. Inbound marketing is both a philosophy towards marketing, and it's also a methodology too. So because of that, it's important to understand that things have shifted dramatically in the past few years. And ultimately what inbound marketing is, it's about reaching people with content that's meaningful for them where they're at in the buying process. Instead of trying to disrupt them like you would see through like a Super Bowl ad or a billboard or a direct mail piece, a postcard, you're trying to vie for people's attention. Whereas with inbound marketing, you're going to people when they're searching online and they have certain pain points. How to deal with my child's bullying problem at school. That's a pain point. Well, you want to be there when they're doing that search. Finding the top schools in Baltimore County, Maryland, just picking some random thing here. So the point is that you want to be there with information, content to answer their questions, meet them where they're at, not try to disrupt them when they're in the middle of other things to try to get their attention. So you still want to do that a little bit, but not the inbound marketing, generally speaking, is not focused in that area of constantly bombarding people. So we don't want to spam them. We don't want to send out, just bombard them with irrelevant emails that they didn't ask for. And then in other forms of radio ads, etc. All these things are disruption based. Inbound marketing is not disruption based. Now, I will say this: we do use those other formats. We use postcards, we use flyers, we use radio ads, but we use them correctly in a way that is meaningful to the prospect. And that I'm not going to dive into all those tactics. This is not the purpose of this webinar. We did that in some others. So I encourage you to go back and do that. And at the core is the fact that inbound marketing, is using technology, the internet, to reach families and prospective students, for 11th, 12th graders going to college, or whether it's preschool mothers, there's a wide range of prospects that you might have depending on if you're a college, preschool, K through 12. So with that, what we do is we want to create content that is attractive, that they're going to find out there to strangers out there who might not have ever heard of us. And we're raising and creating thought leadership through a blog, keywords, social media. And then those strangers we're trying to convert into visitors. When they come to the site, they're seeing other information they can consume and read, ebooks, videos, infographics, white papers, checklist, etc., that they're engaging with, so they can download, and then they can become leads. And once they become leads, we can nurture them further through further emails back to them, drawing them through a buying process, a buyer's journey, so that ultimately they can become customers. And then from there, they actually can become ambassadors or promoters of you, and be helpful in general, both online and offline, as being an evangelist / promoter for your school, college. So ultimately, there's lots of different things that happen in inbound marketing. There's reputation, public relations management, email marketing, search engine optimization. There's social media, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, etc. There's landing pages, call to actions. There's forums. There's analytics, lead generation, marketing automation. There's lots and lots of things that encompass an entire inbound marketing methodology. One of those is paid search. And so in order to execute on an inbound marketing strategy, paid search does play a role in that. However, it's not the only role. So I want to emphasize that there's a bigger picture here going on with your entire strategy for your how you're reaching prospects. Paid search includes a lot of different components. And so there's Facebook ads, there's Google ads, Bing ads, Instagram now has ads, Twitter has ads, LinkedIn has ads. And of course, obviously we already know Google has ads, but all of these things play a role in the online paid marketing ecosystem. So as you understand all these different ways to drive traffic, it depends on who your audience is. So you could really spend a lot of money on doing a lot of things that are irrelevant for your buyer personas. So generally speaking, today I'm talking about Facebook ads, which tend to have a lot of relevance, especially for K through 12 schools. But I also found success with my colleges on Facebook too. Now, some of the and you see younger teens now that are using Instagram and Snapchat and some of these other platforms, but you'll find the parents are still using Facebook. And usually the children are on those too. So even if if a college marketing to 11th and 12th graders, you're going to still find them on Facebook. But the good thing is Facebook also owns Instagram, so you can actually run both Facebook and Instagram ads simultaneously. So that's part of this too. So at the end of the day, it's important to understand the difference between paid search marketing and content marketing. Content marketing is basically organic in its sense that you're writing content that has keyword blog post, it has keywords in it in blog post that you're hoping that people will find as they are searching online. Whereas paid search is you're taking people that are on these other platforms and trying to drive them through your site through more of a direct response approach. So Google AdWords is an example of that, and also Facebook advertising. I think it's key, though, to know the difference. Google AdWords is more dealing with acute issues, a real particular pain, problem, or frustration someone has, and they're going online on how to fix how do I fix my car, or how do I best tips for dealing with the pain in my neck. And, so they want to, what kind of remedies are there, both, looking for different options for them to be able to remedy their pain, problem, or frustration, how to deal with a bullying problem at my school. So these are, finding the top preschools in my town. So those are acute issues. However, on Facebook, you can't run ads like you would on Google AdWords. The difference is that you're going to want to have more of a social impact and be more generous when you're on Facebook, because Facebook, if you start selling on there, people will just write you off and you'll get blocked or, labeled as spam, etc. So on Facebook, it's much more social. So it's like if I was walking down the neighborhood with my dog, walking through the neighborhood with my dog and saw my neighbor and said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's like, "Great." And I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "Well, I've had this pain in my neck the past few days and trying to get over it. I feel a little better now, but still haven't gotten over it. I'm thinking about going to the doctor's tomorrow." He goes, "Oh, wow, you should talk to my doctor. I just had the same thing last week." And he tells me blah, 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 all these things about how he figured out his situation. Now, I didn't go for a walk with my dog to find answers to that. It was more of a social thing. But obviously, that's a very strong word of mouth referral. Guess what? That doctor is going to get business from me if I, decide to go in that direction. So that was information I didn't go on Facebook looking for, but sometimes it'll pop in front of me there's ways to do that in Facebook, so you can put it in front of the right audience. And that's the key with Facebook advertising, is targeting the right audience. This is a quick overview. I'm just not going to dwell on this slide too much on how Google works. There's paid ads in the red box. There's organic when search. And the key takeaway here is when you have a keyword, this is kind of blurry here, I need to update the slide, private Christian schools in New Jersey. You want to make sure you're coming up when someone searches under that keyword on the top first page, otherwise people aren't going to find you, because most people don't go to the second, third pages of Google searches. However, you also want to, with the paid search ads, you can get, if you're not showing up on those first pages, you can pay to have yourself show up there through their auction process. And that's what we did. This is actually one of our clients from the past in Delaware, and then we had an ad here for them on that. So another kind of side tip here before we kind of get a little further is, and this is kind of getting a little tactical, but I want to say this now and not have you wait 2 weeks and waste some money. don't be boosting posts on Facebook. You see that when you sign up your credit card, you go in and you're all excited and like, oh, boost post. I did that post. I have that, ad of the, or won the trophy or the graduation, and the sports team won the trophy, and you want to boost it and tell everyone. Don't do that. Don't press boost post. And here's why. A lot of times when you boost those posts, you're boosting it to people's friends, the friends that like them. And why would you want to boost a post to Aunt Sally in California when you're here in Georgia? You don't need them to see that. What you need to do is set up a sponsored post where you're targeting an audience within a radius around your school. So just my takeaway here is avoid doing boost posts for the most part. This is getting a little better now. So they are adding some of those targeting features. But my latest review is still stay away from it. Learn how to do sponsored posts through Ads Manager and Power Editor, which are tools within Facebook. So the key, though, is remembering the inbound strategy for Facebook ads. So our goal is to drive high quality traffic to the website to convert into leads. This assumes you have a website ready to convert visitors. So if you don't have a website that's inbound friendly, you're going to have problems. You need to have a system, a platform that allows for your website to be prospect focused, not parent focused, current parent focused, but prospective parent focused. Too many websites are built for board members and for existing parents, and you're preaching to the choir. And I can't tell you, even some of these fancy sites I've seen $20,000, $30,000 school websites that don't do anything. And they have the apply now button on the homepage. And I just get sick in my stomach because they're not focusing on the prospect. You do not need to have an apply now button on your homepage. A prospect will find you in the admissions page if they're ready to apply. Most prospects, 95 to 98% of the people that visit your site will leave your site. Only about 50% of them will come back. And you have to be there to give them high quality information where they're at in the buying process, not assuming that they're all of a sudden ready to buy. I doubt very few of you, and if you're men who are on this call, or even if you're a woman, if you were asked on, I'll speak to the woman, if you were asked on, your first date with your current husband to marry you, would you be married to him? Probably not, right? So you need to be courted, and you need to court your prospects, and that's what needs to be taken into account here. So this is important to remember. Pretty ads with compelling messages are useless if not focused on the right audience. So the same thing that was true on a website design and having a good website set up, it's also true with Facebook ads. You have to be targeting the right audience. So the question then becomes, well, who is your target audience? Do you really know your target audience? Well, that's what we're going to do now. Is I want you to hold your breath here. We're going to take a little deeper dive here into some of the strategical reefs of Facebook advertising. So one of the ways that we go about helping our clients figure out who their ideal audience is, their target audience, is by developing buyer personas. And we do some surveys, research, assessment. Sometimes we even later on in the process, we'll do like an on-site focus group. But the idea is that we're helping you identify fictional representations of your ideal customer based on real data, educated speculation about demographics, which usually comes from your leadership, behavior patterns, motivations, and goals. So we want to develop this profile of the people in your school who you want to attract more of. And I'm sure there's different variations of people in your school. Even within a kindergarten program, you have single moms, you have married moms. And if you market to them both the same way, like you might traditionally do with a radio ad or with a postcard or mailer, you're not going to be as effective online. There's different needs, pains, and problems each of those have. So, getting your content set up in a way to market to different buyer personas is really critical. You want to market your school differently to a mother of a 5th grader coming out of a public school into a private school versus you would to a prospective preschool mom. And so it's very difficult and expensive to do that with radio ads and direct mail and magazine ads, billboards. it's almost impossible because you can't afford it. Whereas you can do that now online because it's easy to change the message as long as you know what message to use. So we work in helping develop buyer personas, and this is an example of one, Harry and Helen Helicopter. You ever heard of the helicopter parent? Well, this is our buyer persona. And we understand them. Like we need them in our school. They're there. They're part of our, we don't avoid them, but we want to have some in our school. We don't want the whole school to be dominated by helicopter parents, but we recognize we're going to attract some. So if 10%, 15% of our schools is what we call the buyer persona helicopter parents, we want to know who they are. So we're, weighing winsome towards attracting the right types of families to us. So some of their pain points and opportunities might be, I feel guilty, I'm not doing enough, is questions they might have. Is my child, excuse me, I just tapped my mouse here. Is my child smart, talented enough to get into a good college? What more can I be doing to help my child succeed? So if you're answering these questions, you're going to be able to attract them. And they're going to be asking these questions at an earlier stage. So instead of at the decision stage where they're ready to schedule a tour, fill out an application, visit your school, attend an open house, they're in the research stage. They're just becoming aware of their pain point, their problem, and the opportunities that might be out there in their community. Especially think of a prospective preschool mom, they might not even think of, okay, what are the schools out here? And they're just getting acquainted with that. And so you need to help them in that research process with content that's valuable to answer their questions. Then as they go further down in the process, they need to compare and contrast different alternatives to solutions to their problem. And then as they narrow it down, they're going to come to a couple choices for them that make sense. And that's where you're going to be in the decision stage. So some blog titles that you might use for a helicopter parent would be 5 important questions to ask at your next parent-teacher conference, how to prepare your 5th grader for college, why failure is good for children. So these are compelling things that might cause people to, on a keyword search to find in a Google, or they might even see it in a news feed in Facebook if you're doing a sponsored ad for that blog post where it would show up there. So we want to dive deeper now into Facebook advertising and take a little look at that and how this kind of plays a role with the buyer personas. So here's 4 reasons why Facebook ads are game changers. 1 is hyper targeting of your audience. You got to know who your buyer persona is first. That's why I spent some time on that. You want to be able to 2, promote high quality content. 3, ability to reinforce word of mouth marketing. And 4, the power of remarketing. So let's dive right into these. Hyper targeting of your audience buyer persona. Interest targeting is when you can actually target parents interested in your competitor's Facebook page or in after-school programs, as an example. This is very powerful. It doesn't work in all cases. It depends on how big your competitor's Facebook page and as Facebook allows you to target them. But in some cases, I've been able to do that for my clients, and that's very powerful because I can put ads in the news feed of people that have liked my competitor's Facebook page. And that's ethical, and you're allowed to do that, and most don't. And it's a great way to take advantage of an opportunity to bring awareness. And it's people obviously who like your competitor's school are obviously likely to be your right target market. So what you're also able to do is get into financial demographics, interest. We deal with a lot of private schools, religious with Christian emphasis. And so, we can put in there Christian to segment out people who would be interested in Christian schools instead of maybe a school that's not particularly focused on any one religion. And that can go both ways, obviously. You can exclude people. You can do what we call custom audiences. There's a lot of awesome things you can do here. So the targeting is really powerful, and we'll be looking at this deeper in the next webinar. You can promote high quality content. Those are those blog posts I mentioned. You would want to have sponsored ads, promoting those, being social helpful, and putting those in people's news feeds. You can reinforce word of mouth marketing. You can do what we call, you can be able to have in there where people are sharing, depending on the content you're sharing. Maybe you have a story you put of a blog post, a testimonial, and it talks about people's experiences at your school, and that helps people in the consideration stage as they're moving through that journey. So and it makes a big impact to reinforce what you maybe is going on offline. You can reinforce it online, because there's basically an online and an offline component to word of mouth marketing. And then there's remarketing. Remarketing is awesome. People that come to your website, then go over to Facebook, they'll see ads for your website on their Facebook feed. This could be very compelling if you do it correctly and again, have a right strategy in place. And that's something we use quite often with our clients. So for campaign objectives, every school needs to run in Facebook. You need to have a campaign that is focused on building your page likes up. Both schools, colleges need to get their page likes up over about 500 to 1,000. And that can take a while, but if you do some ads that promote it, you can get that, grow that. And if it's targeted towards the right people, you want to promote blog posts for website traffic or engagement. So that's kind of that social, you're being helpful to people, winning people over, and not just selling to them. You want to also give them additional kind of more substantive content like ebook downloads, give them an opportunity to subscribe to your blog, and other maybe helpful things. And maybe you have someone coming to speak, you're letting people know about that, inviting them to hear someone, or maybe you put a recording of something up there, a video, just content that's helpful, winsome. And then you would do eventually in that to that same audience, after you've kind of warmed them up and kind of earned their listening ear, then you could offer to schedule a tour or visit. And then it becomes much more effective, the close rates on this type of campaign. So these are like 4 different campaign objectives most schools and colleges should be running. Again, we'll get into that deeper in the future. And again, this is a like one. This is one we did with our client. It's making, and I already mentioned this, attracting the right likes and using lookalike audience. If it makes sense, you can actually load emails into your Facebook. So if, let's say you have 200 emails, load them into your Facebook, create a custom audience, and then what will happen is anyone that have those emails that are subscribers to Facebook, they'll see ads in your Facebook page. So that's going to be very powerful. You can promote blog posts for website traffic. So I mentioned this already, and you can have conversion tracking pixels to know if people are converting and engaging with that. Looks at visitors for the last 60 days. So, focusing on the right audience is key here with this. So it's an ebook. Here's an example of an ebook. So converting people to download information, and this is where you're getting their email address, which then they can put them into, if you're set up correctly with inbound marketing, you can have an automation marketing drip campaign where you're sending them additional content to help convert them. And then there's obviously events, like I mentioned earlier. So this is what usually most people will do with Facebook ads. Oh no, the open house is next week and we don't have anyone coming. Let's run some Facebook ads. And so they panic, they put this up, wonder why it doesn't work. And it's because they haven't done the other three things I just showed you. So you have to have a strategy that's the right way to do this. So the keys to advertising on Facebook for success is focus on building a quality Facebook audience. So, and you build that audience by targeting the right audience and then continuing to put the right types of information in front of them where you're helping and educating them and winning their trust. Understanding your buyer personas, knowing who you're targeting. Avoid shortcuts. Don't just go and do the open house ads. Invest budget into website viewers, meaning growing your likes and then also driving traffic to your website. That's important. If you spend too little on Facebook, it's not gonna work for you. Typically, my clients are spending about $1,000 a month or more on Facebook ads, even higher than that. One of my clients just bumped they're having so much success, they're bumping their budget from spending about $1,000 a month to $4,000 a month, and they stopped running billboards. It's a college I work with, and so they have more money now to spend because they're not wasting it on ad mediums that don't work. So if you skip steps or use the wrong ad types, you risk getting a lot of likes that are not going to result in quality leads. So you got to focus on building the right audience. Last, here's some resources for you. A Facebook advertising book. One of my favorites, Perry Marshall. I encourage you to try to get this book. It's a little expensive. You can go pick it up at Barnes & Noble, but it'll dive deep into some of these things, give a lot of examples. He's someone I learned a lot from, and I really appreciate his writing. So that basically concludes today's webinar. Hopefully this was helpful, and we're going to have the more advanced one coming up here in a couple weeks. You'll hear announcements about that shortly, so stay tuned. If you want to also continue to kind of get educated on latest trends, pay attention to our blog. Subscribe to it. You can go online. I'm not going to pull up the site here, but you can go online to our site, schoolinboundmarketing.com, and subscribe to our blog. I'm also going to be at conferences this summer, so I have one coming up next week. And so if this is for those being recorded, you look for me at other events. Let me know you're there, and we can definitely connect. So next week, if you want to schedule a time with me, I'm going to be on site in Atlanta at the 2016 ACCS conference. So for questions, I think if you have questions feel free to reach out to me. You can do that in email, and we'll be glad to schedule a time to meet with you if you want to talk more about this. So we also have an ebook for you. You can download this Headmaster's Guide. We have a couple ebooks, and we're updating our website to make it a little more easier to find them. I have to practice what I preach a little bit. We're updating our website too to make it a little more easier to engage with these content. And but we have a ebook on website design tips and also blogging too. So again, thank you very much. That concludes our webinar for today, and we hope that this is helpful information. I encourage you to be involved in our next webinars as we dive deeper into Facebook advertising. Thank you.